Part 36. The Lord of Reincarnation. Author, Wen Xiaogong. Chapter 353. Bullet Punch. On the school field, Fang Xian manipulated the Valkyrie and began to practice mecha martial arts. This kind of martial arts is a real taboo and secret, and even the same sophomore mecha masters, few are qualified to practice. At this time, Fang Xian really understood the difference of mecha martial arts. The mecha is originally the second body of the mecha master, so mecha martial arts requires the cooperation of the mecha's own meridians to drive the power furnace, transmission belt, and other devices to exert their power together. Strafing. Swish. His fists were like bullets, strafing out like a hurricane, and he swung hundreds of punches in an instant, smashing each target into pieces. For bullet boxing, 100 punches per second is considered an entry point, and hundreds of punches are nothing. Only 1,000 punches can be called a small achievement. After tens of thousands, you can touch the profound meaning of molecular boxing and atomic boxing. At the step of the molecular fist, the lethality of the bullet fist is already very terrifying. After reaching the molecular level of destructive power, any alloy armor is almost vulnerable. Not to mention, there is also the nuclear flat palm method. After comprehending the atomic fist, the power is comparable to a nuclear explosion, but it can be manipulated independently. So in this world, human body martial arts is nothing at all, only mecha martial arts is taboo. Maybe the law enforcement warrior mecha that I dismantled is not qualified to practice mecha martial arts at all. And even if they are qualified to practice, there are not many people who can master mecha martial arts. However, one's own martial arts cultivation is also the basis for mechas to perform, and cannot be ignored. Looking back on the scene of that day, Fang Xian had to admit that without the precognition brought about by the martial god art and the mysterious view of Deluo Cave, he would not have been able to kill so smoothly and leave smoothly. If there was a strong man who could threaten his life at the auction, the Deluo Cave Mystery Temple would definitely send out the most violent reminder, just like he had a premonition of the arrival of the mecha army later. There is also the Heavenly Demon section. Demonic Dao Warrior Organization? Outsiders don't know, they must know that the White Tiger Madman is not theirs, but there are also idle demonic warriors, don't worry about this. If the Fire Thief organization can be more stable, I'll be able to hang out for a while longer. Even the elder Ge only hoped that Luo Yi could master the bullet fist during his college years. But Fang Xian has the attribute column to help him improve his comprehension and comprehend martial arts. As long as he is given a period of hard work, he is absolutely sure to practice nuclear flat palm. Once this level is reached, combined with the mecha, even if he doesn't have the combat power of Ge Lao, he should have no problem at all in sweeping the extraordinary 5 levels. When the 5 paths are united, the certificate will be immortal, and the destructive power that can be exerted by even the worst mecha will be unparalleled. Level 6 limit. It is even possible to cross that huge boundary and touch the threshold of level 7. At that time, the world will be opened up. Thinking of this, Fang Xian couldn't help calling out the attribute bar, concentrating on the symbols transformed into bullet boxing, a mecha martial art, and began to comprehend. Boom! In an instant, he understood more fully what the elder Ge originally said. Those demonstrations became extremely vivid in his heart. If I punch again, I am sure to increase the speed of the punch to 500. Give me 7 days, and I can break through 1,000 punches, and I can make a small punch with bullets. As for molecular fist and atomic fist, it requires the support of internal strength. My current 5th level Wuxiang Xiangong is not very useful. Valkyrie University. Mecha Training Ground. Haha. I succeeded, I finally succeeded. A mecha walked out of the warehouse with its head held high, like a well-trained warrior, playing various martial arts moves. Even for the most common martial arts, the destructive power is greatly enhanced after being augmented by mechs. Huo Weiyang, very good, you have successfully reached 100% penetration rate, and you can practice mecha martial arts. Next to it, on a trainer, there was a big laugh, but don't be too complacent, you are not the first in this year. According to my news, Luo Yi from Donglong University has completed the penetration rate before you practice. Luo Yi. The mecha, which was like a wild dog, stopped suddenly, and Huo Weiyang's fearful voice came out. After all, you are a born martial artist, so there are always some extraordinary things, but don't be discouraged, our Martial God University has better resources, which can improve the performance of your mecha. And, you still have the support of your family, don't be discouraged. Shame, when you experience it for a few more years, you will find that it is not shameful. The instructor comforted. Of course I don't feel ashamed, my family has accumulated wealth for dozens of generations, and it is truly unfair to be caught up by others. The door of the mecha cabin opened, and Huo Weiyang jumped out, saying proudly. Yeah, it's good that you can understand this truth, money ability is also a kind of ability. At this moment, the door of the warehouse next to it opened, and Xiao Linger also walked out in the mecha. I heard what Cha Wanzi said. She said that what Luo Yi told her at this time is that you are a strong man who can use money. Linger. Tantai looked at the student speechlessly. How many times have I told you that you have to go through your brain before speaking? No. You actually finished it too? It's very simple to operate the mecha. Xiao Linger made the huge mecha make a V gesture. Very good, you study hard this semester, and apply for an internship in the space battlefield next semester. Real martial arts can only be practiced in fighting, and the same is true for mech martial arts. Tantai shouted, although you lost to Luo Yi in the martial arts competition, I believe that you will definitely surpass him as a mecha master. This is the confidence of our Wushan University. Clear. Both Huo Weiyang and Xiao Linger answered loudly. He, maybe not 2, but 3 people will go to the space battlefield at that time. At this time, a female mecha master came to the field. She has a very young face, but her hair is full of silver, and there is a sense of vicissitudes in her eyes, which makes it impossible to see her real age. My student, Shaowenzi, can definitely catch up with their progress and compete in the space battlefield. Shine bright. Naturally, after all, Hua Lao is your apprentice. Tantai and Huo Weiyang's instructors quickly complimented each other. The heart of the martial god is the most suitable talent for me to follow the path of sniper heart style. It is much better than that natural martial saint. Donglong University is the school of that old guy in Ge Lao. Powerful, but how can it be compared to our sniper heart style, which eliminates opponents before contact? Hua Lao smiled and said, I am really looking forward to my student colliding with that old student on the battlefield. The Lord of Reincarnation. Author, Wen Xiaogong. Chapter 354. The news about the White Tiger lunatic, even if it was popular for a while, eventually faded away. After a while, it was time for the university summer vacation. Chai Jingwen came to bid farewell to Fang Xian with tears in his eyes. The return of his mining teacher is nowhere in sight, causing him to be like a sheep in school, with a sharp decline in his final exam results. Not only is there no hope of transferring to the mecha department, he may also be in danger of being warned of expulsion. Seeing this scene, Fang Xian could only sigh secretly that Yi Bagua had offended Lu Donglong so much, and at the same time instigated Chai Jingwen to change his mentor. However, Chai Jingwen was very virtuous in this regard, and he sternly refused, bluntly saying that it would be a big deal to go home and inherit hundreds of millions of property. Fang Xian was speechless for a long time, and could only let him go. During the summer vacation, the campus of Donglong University was not deserted. After all, martial arts practitioners all have the character of martial arts lunatics. Only half of the students choose to go home, and the other half are still here, staying in a good environment to retreat or to hone their martial arts. Even if you go out to do summer jobs, Wushan district has the most developed economy, and the wages are higher than other regions, and there are more opportunities. Therefore, it is normal for college students not to go home during summer vacation. Fang Xian found a random reason to fool Luo Cheng, and it passed. However, he felt that the other party probably felt that he had found a girlfriend outside. He acted like you were the most important thing, and asked if he needed Xin Yuan, which left him speechless for a long time. At this time, Fang Xian was driving the Valkyrie and standing on the training ground. Bullet fist point explosion style. The mech suddenly swung a fist, and countless shadows of fists gathered at one point within a second, bringing incomparably condensed explosive power. Even the air seemed to be beaten into a pancake, turned into an air cannonball, and fired. Boom! On the opposite side, a test target not only shattered itself, but a large pit also appeared on the ground, as if it had been bombarded by a giant cannon. Seeing such destructive power, Fang Xian nodded and looked at the property bar. Name, Fang Xian, Luo Yi. Occupation, Alchemist, Level 4. Alchemy, Mysterious View of De Luo Cave, 9 Transformations of Gangsha. Martial Arts, White Tiger 7 Killing Evil Art, Wuxiang Xiangong, 10th Floor, Martial God Art, Dragon Transformation Art, Huanzi Heart Sutra, Turtle Crane Prolonging Years Art, Royal Armor Heart Sutra, Level 1, Basic Internal Strength, Consummation, Great Capture Hand, 8 Steps of Flying Dragon, Bullet Fist, Dachan, Nuclear Flat Palm, Introductory. Taoism, Weird. Reincarnation, can be opened. His bullet boxing method is not as simple as 1,000 punches in a second, but he has already broken through 10,000 punches, and he has comprehended the profound meaning of molecular boxing and atomic boxing. Even, they have already begun to comprehend the nuclear flat palm method. In addition, Wuxiang Xiangong, an advanced internal skill, has also been cultivated to the 10th level by him, reaching the achievement of Dzogchen, the pinnacle of martial arts. At this point, the next step is to choose one of the 5 realms of God, Saint, Immortal, Buddha, and Demon, and prove it with great perseverance, great opportunity, and great understanding. More importantly, the active reincarnation is activated, with the capital of waves. But on the public training ground, of course you have to hide your clumsiness. Okay. Your mecha martial art has already been cultivated to the point of Xiao Cheng. Ji Lao didn't know when he stood with his hands behind his back on the edge of the training ground. Looking at this scene, he nodded with satisfaction. Even in the space battlefield, you are still the combat power of an elite squad leader. Your talent really surprises me constantly. He felt that he had picked up a treasure, and he really received a super satisfied air. Of course, the better Luo Yi performed, the angrier Lu Donglong would feel. I'm afraid that Yi gossip will never come back. This is all thanks to the teacher's guidance, and the mental arithmetic power of Do Buddha. Fang Xian walked out of the mech, very modestly. This is not a lie, the powerful computing power brought by practicing the Guanzi Heart Sutra is indeed helpful for practicing many martial arts. In addition, on the bright side, after trying the 4 martial arts, Fang Xian has chosen the future path, and he wants to follow the path of martial saints and martial Buddhas, both of which are practitioners. After all, it would be an idiot for a born martial saint not to choose the way of martial saint, but Fang Xian himself has half of the way of martial god and martial immortal, and he can just figure it out by himself. Only the way of martial Buddha, which is not well understood, requires continuous research, purchase of a large amount of resources and assistance, etc., which cannot be hidden from others. The old man agrees with this. After all, a genius has to be different. Walking the 4 paths at the same time is exhausting, and the gain is not worth the loss, but if you can really achieve the success of the two paths, your combat power must be far superior to your peers. Well, during this period of time, your cosmic environment, demon language and other courses have also made up for it. In school, you can't learn much. Don't waste your summer vacation, go directly to the space battlefield for internship. The old man said calmly. It is good. Fang Xian agreed immediately. He really wanted to see the extraterrestrial celestial demons for himself. For University Mecha Division trainees, the Valkyrie army will not send you to a dangerous galaxy at the beginning. There is a high probability that it will be the Twin Tower star near the main battlefield. I have 2 students there, and it belongs to you. Second senior sister and 5th senior brother, they will help you. Ge Lao gave 2 contact methods. Fang Xian put it away, and asked curiously, "Teacher, how many brothers and sisters do I have?" "Only 3, the others are all dead," the old man said calmly. Fang Xian suddenly felt a chill. Ge Lao acted quickly. Fang Xian has nothing to clean up. After signing up, after waiting for a few days, the Valkyrie army sent him a ticket for Interstellar Airlines, asking him to report to Twin Towers on time. As for the mechs, naturally the school is responsible for consigning them. Interstellar Airlines is located on the edge of the Martial God District, and the transportation is very convenient. There are a large number of floating trains and trucks coming and going every day, and the throughput is very huge. Although Fang Xian had heard the name of Interstellar Airlines for a long time, it was the first time he came here. Looking at the huge spaceship rising and falling like ordinary sailboats on the pier, I couldn't help but feel a little shocked. Wearing a tracksuit and carrying a simple satchel, he walked into the main entrance with the flow of people. The ticket here is a brand new chip, which can be scanned directly when entering the gate, and detailed information will appear. Fang Xian entered the departure hall of his spaceship, sat on the sofa, ordered free juice, and drank it slowly. Luo Yi. This time we go to Twin Towers together, we need to help each other, it's a battlefield. At this moment, a fit girl came over and greeted with a smile. Naturally, classmate Yelai. Fang Xian smiled and agreed. This Yelai is a famous figure in the sophomore mecha department, and she has already had a perfect influence rate, which is not comparable to a waste like Wei Zitong. After completing all the training in the sophomore year, she was indeed assigned to go to the space battlefield to truly experience the cruelty of war. If this is the case, there are probably sophomore elites from other schools in our batch. In Fang Xian's mind, a thought emerged. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lord of Reincarnation. Author, Wen Xiaogong. Chapter 355. Luo Yi, we meet again. At this time, another man and 2 women walked into the waiting hall. It was Huo Weiyang, Xiao Ling'er and Cha Wanzi. Xiao Ling'er stared at Fang Xian angrily, and mouthed a bad guy. Xia Wanzi bowed, Student Luo, I'm sorry my teacher told me to surpass you on the battlefield. You're right, I'm sure, you guys also go to the Twin Towers Star battlefield for an internship? Fang Xian glanced, and knew that they had all broken through the martial arts, so he couldn't help but asked with a smile, is it the same train by coincidence? The martial god army arranges interns, so naturally try to be together as much as possible, but I don't need to, Huo Weiyang said, I have a private spaceship, do you want to come and sit? Fang Xian shook his head, and found that Yelai next to her was a little moved, and couldn't help being speechless. Sure enough, a young and wealthy person like Huo Weiyang, who is also a genius mech master, is very attractive to girls. This society is so frighteningly realistic. Making a secret remark, Fang Xian suddenly pressed the center of his brows and glanced somewhere. After more than 10 seconds, Cha Wanzi's expression also changed, and he shouted, It's dangerous. Minutes ago, a man in a black windbreaker holding a chip ticket walked into the lobby of Interstellar Airlines. The investigation of the White Tiger lunatic can come to an end. It is confirmed that the other party is an idle magician who obtained an unknown magic technique. That time it was just for revenge. The heavenly demon sect needs to absorb new blood, but unfortunately we can't find any information about him, as if the world has evaporated. It's very difficult to convince such a big brother. The man in the black windbreaker walked towards the departure hall. There is a second mission sent from the door. This is simply embarrassing me. In this heavily guarded place, investigate the elites of various universities. Although most of them are just elementary level martial artists, and I have already attained the great consummation, and the great ape demon fist I practiced can definitely sweep the same level, but if they are discovered, as long as they can't run away within 2 minutes, they will definitely be caught. On the armor. Although I am a member of the Tianmo men, if I were to die for it, I would definitely not be able to, fortunately, just need to observe. Unexpectedly, there is really a big fish, tisk tisk, a heart of a martial god, a born martial sage, both are geniuses at the level of evildoers, and there are a lot of extra heads. He secretly took a few photos, and was about to complete the task and leave directly. At this moment, a hoarse heavenly voice suddenly sounded in his heart, in his mind, and inside his ears, "Kill, kill." Upon hearing this voice, the man in black's face contorted, as if a red-hot iron tongs had been inserted into his head. He bent down, and with a hoo-hoo sound, he spit out a few syllables, "Nothing, heavenly demon. I am, an abandoned child." In the heavenly demon sect, there is indeed an extraterritorial heavenly demon influencing it. Even, most of the demonic martial arts in this world are obtained by imitating the abilities of extraterrestrial demons. Among the heavenly demons, the most weird and unpredictable one is the formless, nihilistic heavenly demon that can entrust people's hearts. It was like a heart demon, parasitic in the body of this disciple of the demon, and suddenly launched an attack at this time. Outside the martial god star, there are strict defenses. Even in the heavenly demon sect, there are very few extraterritorial demons who can sneak in. But weighing the value of this nihilistic demon and that group of geniuses, the senior management of the demon sect can make this determination. At this moment, the man in the black windbreaker felt that his consciousness was isolated, and another crazy bloodthirsty thought occupied his heart and body. The magical skills in the body started to run crazily at an unimaginable speed. "This gentleman, you." A stewardess saw the man in the windbreaker who was on set and wanted to go forward to ask about the situation. She suddenly screamed, and with a superficial lightness kung fu, she jumped far away, "Demon warrior." If you observe closely, you can find that the eyes of the man in the windbreaker have turned red. Not only that, on the surface of his body, black hair grew rapidly, almost turning into a black big horse monkey in an instant. This is not crazy. It's about refining the 12 classics and the 8 extraordinary meridians, truly transforming oneself, becoming a demonic warrior after the extraordinary, a vision that will only occur after being possessed by an extraterrestrial demon. GG. The monster transformed by the man in the black windbreaker let out a strange cry, and suddenly stepped on the ground. Countless cracks appeared on the smooth floor, and he flew out like a cannonball, killing him in the waiting hall in a blink of an eye. Long before the demon warriors came, Fang Xian had a sense. However, he was deep in his thoughts, so he didn't run away immediately, but waited until Chawanzi yelled, and then used the flying dragon's 8 steps, and rushed towards a corner. Diddy. On Huo Wuiang's body, a sharp siren sounded. An extraterritorial celestial demon has been discovered. The strength is star demon level. Extremely dangerous. It is recommended to avoid it immediately. The Mecha Masters of Valkyrie Star also divide the extraterritorial demons into levels, which are Star Demon level, Moon Wheel level, and Zuri level. In Fang Xian's cognition, it corresponds to the fourth, fifth, and even sixth level of extraordinary. As for whether there is a seventh level, this is a secret from both parties. The real extraterrestrial demons all cross the threshold of the third level of extraordinary, which is equivalent to the level of silver of order. In addition, they can also create and pollute a large number of dependents, which are equivalent to a cannon fodder army. Without such strength, they cannot wreak havoc on the universe. Damn it, this broken alarm is so slow, I have the nerve to say it is the highest technology. Huo Weong looked at the black monkey monster that was rushing, and there was only one thought in his mind. The position of their group of people just now was really good, and the geniuses gathered together, so they were naturally the first targets of the demon warriors. But now, Fang Xian and Cha Wanzi almost slipped away. He and Xiao Linger were a step behind, and they were already within the attack range of the demon warriors. Before the recruitment comes, the strength will come first. The pitch-black magic way was innately infuriating, falling down like mountains and seas, almost smashing them into meat sauce. That martial artist was originally a peak martial artist, but after being possessed by an extraterrestrial demon, he already has the strength of the fourth level star demon level. Comparable to an ordinary martial artist wearing a mecha. Squeezing them to death is not much different from crushing ants. Stop! Suddenly, several figures flew out, attacking the vital points of the demon warrior. It's Huo Weong's bodyguard, and perhaps the military's hidden masters. After all, such a conspicuous target may indeed attract attacks. It is not just once or twice that Tianmo Men acts as a minion to assassinate human warrior geniuses. These masters have a long breath, and they may even have proved the realm of martial god and martial saint, and entered the fourth level of transcendent, comparable to star demon. At this time, he shot with anger, and the burst of strength directly tore the demon warrior into pieces. Several people were startled at the same time, and immediately felt a great chill in their hearts. Not good. The opponent was eliminated so easily, most likely it was a bait. The Lord of Reincarnation. Author, Wen Xiaogong. Chapter 356. GG. As the flesh and blood of the demon warrior exploded in mid-air, a vague black shadow emerged. Its appearance is indescribable, it seems to be a shadow, but it wriggles like life and makes strange noises. It's the void heavenly demon. A warrior sage yelled, "Protect the students. No matter martial god, martial saint, or martial immortal, martial Buddha, it's all a realm. Entering this realm for the first time is roughly equivalent to the star demon level demon, that is, the fourth level of extraordinary. And if you cultivate to a high level, like Elder Ge, you can be equivalent to the moon wheel level, which is the fifth level of extraordinary. Of course, this martial saint doesn't have the lunar level, he is just a star demon, but he can definitely be regarded as a big boss. If he has a mecha, he can even kill the moon demon. But it's a pity that Interstellar Airlines is very confident in its own security, and it doesn't allow mechs to pass inside. In an instant, I saw this nihilistic demon explode. A terrifying mental storm suddenly swept through the minds of everyone in the waiting hall. Spirit bomb? This move is ruthless enough. Even the technology of the martial god star has not been thoroughly explored in the field of mind and spirit. Once injured, any genius will be crippled. With the thought, Fang Xian swept to the outside world. He saw ordinary people outside the terminal hall, falling down in pieces like harvesting wheat, their faces twisted, as if they had fallen into an endless nightmare. Some ears and eyes were bleeding. This is the case on the outside, but the situation on the inside is even worse. In the waiting hall, all the students fell down. Senior Sister Yalai snorted and fell into a coma. If it wasn't for her already being a martial artist, it would be very possible to die directly like this. Fang Xian felt a few breaths of death, which were direct mental death, that is, brain death. Okay. I can hold on. But be humble. He took a glance and saw that Huo Weiyang and Cha Wanzi were standing still. Obviously there was something precious to save their lives. Xiao Ling'er's background was almost the same as that of the teacher, and she had already fallen to the ground, bleeding from her lips. He followed suit and also fell down. Boom! At this time, a big hole was opened in the ceiling, and a mecha figure emerged. Its starship reinforcements arriving. Fang Xian pretended to be dizzy all the way and was sent to the hospital. All around, a lot of voices came. Heart rate is normal. Blood pressure is normal. A little nurse shouted, "Doctor, the needle won't go in." She seemed to have practiced one-hand acupuncture, and she moved the needle like flying, piercing Fang Xian's blood vessel, but was blocked from it. "Let me see the information. The King Kong is not bad. Use the electric drill." A doctor in a white coat immediately said, "The patient's brain and mind have been severely injured, and must be rescued immediately, otherwise there is a danger of brain death and turning into a vegetable." "It is good." Accompanied by the answering sound, the sound of the electric drill turning immediately rang out in the treatment room. Ahem. Fang Xian's heart twitched, his eyelids rolled, he coughed suddenly, and opened his eyes. "Where is this? What's wrong with me? Student? Are you awake?" A doctor in a white coat immediately stepped forward, lifted Fang Xian's eyelids, and shone with a flashlight. "It's okay, how many fingers are these?" After a series of examinations, he announced that Fang Xian was in good health. After all, mental shock is like that, everything is easy to talk about when you wake up, but if you can't wake up, or your brain is damaged, it will be troublesome. Because of this, Fang Xian was able to pretend to be weak, and was supported by a little nurse, and walked out of the ward to have a look. After all, medical resources are precious, and it is good to have one free. The emergency room is a busy scene. This is the nearest hospital to Interstellar Airlines, and all those who were attacked were sent here. How terrifying is the mental impact of a star demon level void sky demon. With a sweep of Fang Xian's eyes, he saw that the brain waves of a large number of testing instruments became a straight line, and the injured were declared dead and covered with a white cloth. This is an ordinary person who has been affected, probably only has the strength of a warrior level, and can't hold it at all. And those elite students, although they are martial artists, are too close. Fang Xian walked a few steps and came to the intensive care unit. Ye Lai, whom she just met, was lying in it, in very bad condition. In the other room is Xiao Ling'er, listening to the nurse's whispered conversation. This natural life feature has stabilized, but it's not certain when it will wake up, maybe it will become a vegetative state. A new generation of stars has just fallen. Luo Yi. At this moment, Fang Xian saw two people in wheelchairs again. One is Huo Weiyang and the other is Shawenzi. It seems that both of them have been checked and confirmed that there is no serious problem. They came to visit their classmates. "You guys are here." Fang Xian looked sad. At that time, even if he exploded with all his strength, he couldn't stop that star-level demon. After all, he didn't have a mecha. The extraterrestrial demons are our real enemies. Huo Weiyang's tone was cold. There is still a limit to how humans compete within each other, but the extraterrestrial demons simply ignore all rules and use all means. "Are you all right?" Fang Xian asked a question. "I almost died, but fortunately there is a talisman left by the teacher." Cha Wanzi patted his chest, then looked at Fang Xian. "You can actually walk? A born martial artist is physically strong." Fang Xian didn't say much. Anyway, they must think that they have the treasure given by the old man, so it is normal to survive. The only flaw lies in Mr. Ge, but he has confidence in his teacher, and Mr. Ge is not the kind of person who breaks the casserole and asks the end. What's more, the spiritual realm is inherently mysterious, so he broke out with all his strength and blocked a wave of attacks. Although it was a bit abnormal, it was not impossible. Big deal, when the time comes, I will reveal another talent of heart of the martial god. This kind of talent, good at mental illusion, naturally has a certain resistance to mental shock. I'm in good health. I'm going to leave the hospital and continue to go to Twin Towers to kill demons from outside the territory. Fang Xian said a few words of comfort. I'll be waiting for you. Huo Weiyang and Cha Wanzi nodded, feeling as if they had grown up. Chicks always underestimate the wind and rain. Only by spreading their wings and flying high can they discover the cruelty of the storm. Just as Fang Xian was about to turn around and leave, he saw a figure flying towards him with astonishing speed. Ling Er. It's Tantai. The female warrior walked like the wind, waved her hand to repel several doctors and nurses, looked at the brainwave device, and suddenly her eyes dimmed. Why? How could this happen? Then I will take my leave first. Fang Xian said hello and left, asking Huo Weiyang to entertain Xiao Linger's teacher. After turning around, he touched the center of his brow, and his expression suddenly became cold. Human beings are such a complex creature. Why do I feel that Tantai's hostility towards me has increased? Because her apprentice is about to be abolished, but I'm fine? He. The Lord of Reincarnation. Author, Wen Xiaogong. Chapter 357. Due to unknown reasons, Sogu suddenly couldn't find this site today. Please keep in mind the domain name of this site, Shuhage Quanpin, to find your way home. You can search for Reincarnation Lord in Baidu to find the latest chapter. Twin Towers Star. This is a strange planet in the shape of a barbell. I don't know if it is natural or has been modified by technology. At both ends of it, strongholds of mech masters and extraterrestrial demons were established, while in the middle of the barbell was a battlefield where the two sides were constantly seeing each other. It's just that the intensity is not great, so it can be used for training by Mecha Division recruits. Fang Xian couldn't help sighing when he saw the Twin Towers through the window of the spaceship. One end of this star is dark red, as if it is made of flesh and blood, but the other end is filled with silvery white, with a sci-fi metallic atmosphere. Diddy, you have arrived at War Fortress D-12 on Twin Towers. Fang Xian stepped out of the spaceship and took a breath of the air of Twin Towers. According to the test, the oxygen concentration here is slightly lower than that of Martial God Star. It may be difficult for ordinary people to survive, but it is not a big deal for martial artists who are already extraordinary. This war fortress is indeed in the shape of a huge city fortress. The silver-white metal texture, plus a series of hideous muzzles, made Fang Xian have no doubts about its defense and firepower. At critical moments, this fortress even has the ability to float in the air, and it can be regarded as a huge aircraft carrier for the rest and refueling of the mech division. When Fang Xian got off the spaceship, he immediately felt swept by a wave of detection. On the wristband he upgraded again, a line of information suddenly appeared. Name, Luo Yi. Occupation, Mecha Master. Rank, Star Demon rank. Rank, Trainee Soldier. Merit, 0. Mission, 1 within hours, go to the command room of the War Fortress and report to the local general. In this kind of place, if you violate the military law, even the Mecha Master will drink a big pot. Fang Xian complained secretly, swiped his card to open the metal valve, and entered a mechanical passage. With a smart map on the bracelet. Unexpectedly, he made a mistake in this maze-like fortress. Along the way, I could occasionally see a few serious-looking soldiers, each doing their own thing, with the evil spirit lingering on their bodies. The taste of robbery. Fang Xian took a deep breath in satisfaction and came to the highest point of the fort. Diddy. After a burst of red light, the door of the combat command room opened directly, revealing a huge office behind it. In the office, the furnishings are very empty, only a huge 3D dynamic map is projected in the middle, and the green dot of the mech master on his side and the red dot of the extraterrestrial demon on the opposite side are clearly visible. A tall woman in a blood-red cloak and a hideous black metal shoulder pad on one shoulder suddenly turned around. Her aura is oppressive, and she has a murderous aura that has been in the top position for a long time, bringing enormous pressure. Even his martial arts attainments should be quite astonishing, but he just doesn't know what path to take. Luo Yi. She looked at Fang Xian, the corners of her mouth twitched, her sharp face seemed to want to laugh, but she was so stiff that she didn't know how to smile. The teacher mentioned you to me, as his closed student. You are excellent. Just now, she had already tried to suppress this little junior with force. The opponent has withstood the test perfectly. Although it may be the talent of a born martial artist, it still impresses her. I've seen the officer. Fang Xian saluted. Call me senior sister, I'm your second senior sister, Situ Weiwei. Situ Weiwei said in a deep voice. Okay, it seems that although Ge Lao didn't give me any treasures, at least the arrangements were clear, at least with Situ Weiwei covering me, I can walk sideways in this fortress. Fang Xian nodded secretly in his heart, and called senior sister. Very well, although I am your senior sister, I can only take care of you within the rules of the fortress. For example, those items that can be exchanged for meritorious deeds cannot be given to you directly, but you must earn them yourself. Besides, every time mecha masters will have a recorder attached to their mechs when attacking, and it is not advisable to pretend to be meritorious and make military achievements. Do you understand? Situ Weiwei's tone became very serious. I know. Fang Xian nodded. Here, mecha masters usually form a small team and go out to hunt the extraterrestrial demons. The rookie is here, it's better to join the team. What do you think? The teacher said that you already have the strength of the captain, you can act alone, or form a team. Situ Weiwei said. Based on my rookie resume, I'm afraid no one wants to form a team with me. Let alone become the captain. Fang Xian shook his head. After all, this is going to fight desperately with the demons outside the territory, and it will really kill people. No matter what background, influence, or in front of life, it will not work well. So, I choose to act on my own. This is also convenient for him to do some things in private. As for the recorder, this can only be opened when killing the demon. That's fine. I've already given you the most basic access rights. Your room number is, Situ looked at Fang Xian slightly, his eyes suddenly burning hot. Don't rush, go to the training ground, I want to try it out. Try your martial arts. Fang Xian rolled his eyes. Well, these days, the female mecha master who can be killed in the Valkyrie army must also be a martial idiot. This woman is really crazy. A few hours later, Fang Xian returned to his dormitory, grinning his teeth and practicing kung fu to heal his injuries. Situ Weiwei, the second senior sister, really practiced the magic dragon art and followed the way of a martial sage. Not only is her true energy unparalleled, but she also cooperates seamlessly with the dragon transformation spear art. On the surface, he is still a martial artist, so he can only hide his clumsiness, so it is natural that he will be hanged and beaten. What's even worse is that Situ Weiwei knows that he was born a martial artist, with rough skin and thick flesh, so he has less scruples when striking, and now his bones are aching. But with a little luck, he recovered a lot. Tomorrow, I will go out for a while to meet the demons outside the territory. This kind of killing not only has merit, but also can be written into the resume, which will be very helpful in the future. Of course, it is useless to me. The key is the items that can be exchanged for merit. Fang Xian thought for a while, opened the bracelet, and opened the new content after entering the fortress. This information can only be updated after Situ Weiwei approves it. The real-time battle situation of Twin Towers. Roster of merit. Exchange list. Looking at the real-time battle situation and the unknown names on the merit list, Fang Xian quickly lost interest. He came to Twin Towers not only to see the extraterrestrial demons, but also for these precious resources that are only open to the mecha masters of the Valkyrie army. Peerless martial arts, Heavenly Dragon Palm technique, exchange price 5 merits. Flame Spear Ju, exchange price 3 merits. Dragon Transformation Magic Art exchange price of 5 meritorious service. The complete book of the martial god art, the exchange price is 8 meritorious deeds. It's really cheap. Fang Xian looked back and saw that there was also mecha martial arts, but the price was dozens of times more expensive. In addition, there are various mech modification, maintenance services, and module loading, etc. It can be said that although the Valkyrie he obtained is only a bare machine, as long as all the modules here are installed, even if it is not as good as Ge Lao's mecha, it will not be worse than the Dragon pattern machine owned by the president of Donglong University. How many? For the convenience of reading next time, you can click favorite below to record this, chapter 356 Stronghold, reading record, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like The Lord of Reincarnation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lord of Reincarnation. Author, Wen Xiaogong. Chapter 358. Due to unknown reasons, Sogu suddenly couldn't find this site today. Please keep in mind the domain name of this site, Shuhaig Quanpin, to find your way home. You can search for Reincarnation Lord in Baidu to find the latest chapter. Railguns, armor-piercing guns, these are probably the must-haves of the mech sniper genre. Fang Xian looked at the mech modules, and had to say that there were a few that made him very excited, such as the attached super high-power nuclear power furnace. Mecha martial arts, nuclear flat palm method, the power not only depends on the level of cultivation, but also depends on whether the nuclear power of the mecha itself is sufficient. The greater the power of the nuclear furnace, the higher the power of the palm. Bullet fist is not bad. In Donglong University, the nuclear flat palm really can't be practiced, maybe it will be better here? Fang Xian pondered, and looked at some special exchange items. Buddha Bone Relic, the special remnant after the chip fusion of the strong man of the way of martial Buddha himself, has a very high research value -100 meritorious service. This is the item he has always coveted. After all, Fang Xian has long understood the 4 ways of sacred immortals and demons. Only the way of fighting Buddha needs to be learned from the beginning. This kind of relic is collected in a museum specially built by Zen University, and it is not for sale at all. Only on the battlefield against the extraterritorial demons can we collect some. According to Fang Xian's research and calculation, if he absorbs the calculation power in the relic in a special way, such as robbery power, it will be very beneficial to improve his Guanzi Heart Sutra. The meritorious value can only be obtained by killing the demons outside the territory, and the demons below the 4th level are almost useless, only the star demon level is worth seeing. Tomorrow, it's time to go hunting, and there is also the heavenly demon gate. There was a glint of darkness in Fang Xian's eyes. The next day, Twin Tower Star originally had no concept of day and night, and there was always a dusk-like light in the sky. However, in the fortress, the timekeeping habit of the Valkyrie star is still maintained. Drop. Certification passed. Luo Yi, the pilot of the Valkyrie mecha, I wish you a victorious return. A small gate opened, and Fang Xian drove the mech straight out of the fortress. Whoosh. His speed increased rapidly, and his eyes could only catch a shadow. In the mech cabin, a map is projected. The mech masters in this fortress like to go to the Black Wind Plain the most. The flesh and blood celestial demons entrenched there are the easiest type of celestial demons outside the territory to deal with. Some of them look like various mutant beasts. The peculiar topography of the Twin Towers creates a special situation where the battlefield is concentrated on the barbell shaft. And the Black Wind Plain is just a small area on the edge of the main battlefield. Recorder, turn on. Fang Xian thought for a while, and turned on the video equipment, which is the proof of his meritorious service. It's the first time you come out to hunt, you don't need to be too aggressive, just get familiar with it. During the run, he can also see various mechs. Some of them travel alone, some form small groups, and some fly directly through the sky. The common feature is that they keep a distance from each other. As they approached the battlefield, there were sporadic demons around them. Puff! Fang Xian grabbed it with his big hand, dug into the soil, and pulled out a strange bug. It is white all over, several meters long, shaped like a slug, with 2 erect eyes, and a sickle-like arm. At this time, the knife arm turned and cut on the big hand of the mecha, sputtering out sparks. Third-level dependence, transformation of extraterrestrial demons. Fang Xian exerted a little force with his 5 fingers, and pinched the knife insect into blood foam. The recorder recorded everything truthfully, without any merit. After all, the opponent's level was too low. If an ordinary martial artist encounters them, I'm afraid they will be caught off guard and will suffer a big loss. Fang Xian shook his head and continued on his way. A few hours later, I saw a dark plane ahead. Black Wind Plain, here we come. Fang Xian walked into a flat ground. The ground was full of the white knife insects just now. Tens of thousands of knife worms wriggled, twisted, and fused together, turning into a huge white worm with countless tentacles wielding sharp knives on its surface. Extraterritorial demons, flesh and flesh blade worm mother. Star demon class. In Fang Xian's mind, a lesson about extraterrestrial demons emerged. Try ordinary martial arts first. He circulated the formless mysterious art, which suddenly transformed into the true energy of the dragon transformation divine art. This Genkai emits a dragon chant, which is extremely thick, and after being amplified by the meridians of the mech, it turns into a long white dragon after a palm strike. Wherever it passed, the air roared, the ground opened up, and those scattered knife insects were directly blown into pieces. This palm landed on the worm, leaving an obvious imprint. The blade worm mother suddenly screamed, and its huge body squirmed, bringing a terrible mental shock. The white terror that swept across wanted to pull Fang Xian's spirit into the abyss of bottomless chaos, and uttered madman's ravings in his ears, trying to drive him into complete and hopeless madness. When the blade insect mother is injured, it will emit a terrible impact. It is polluted, so it is best not to watch it. Fang Xian turned his head, the mecha jumped up high, his legs were like blades, and kicked out heavily. Bang bang. After fighting for more than 10 minutes, the blade worm mother fell down unwillingly, and her body began to melt slowly. This star demon level extraterritorial demon has about 10 meritorious deeds. Ordinary mecha master, it is really tiring to kill it. Fang Xian felt a little tired, and it was because he had the indestructible physical strength. Switching to an ordinary martial artist, he probably felt that his physical strength had reached its limit. At this time, if you are attacked and have no teammates, it is indeed very dangerous. But generally speaking, ordinary mecha masters are a little better than star demon level demons. Fang Xian began to run the turtle crane prolonging skill in a fighting posture to restore his physical strength. At this moment, as if attracted by the battle just now, a group of giant beasts of flesh and blood surrounded them like wild dogs smelling blood. If it's an ordinary sophomore mech master, he'll be stumped now. Sure enough, it's extremely dangerous on the battlefield. Fang Xian slowly clenched his fist with 5 fingers, bullet fist. The power of taboo-level mecha martial arts is naturally not comparable to that of ordinary martial arts. Even if he has hidden clumsiness, he only exerts the power of 1,000 punches for a second. It is extremely terrifying. Boom! He concentrated his fists at one point, and smashed one head of an alien demon with 3 strange heads covered in scales into pieces. This heavenly demon has the strongest aura among this group of flesh and blood monsters. The more so, the more Fang Xian will choose it as a breakthrough. After punching out, he chose to charge in the direction of the giant beast. Boom! The mecha launched with all its strength, and violently smashed the demon into 2 pieces. Before the other demons surrounded him, Fang Xian ran away from the battlefield at full speed. The extraterrestrial celestial demons are almost endless, and they are invincible. If he is obsessed with fighting, he might find himself surrounded by a group of star demons when he comes back to his senses. At that time, it will be really troublesome. This is the lesson of blood and tears that the senior mecha masters learned on the Black Wind Plain. For the convenience of reading next time, you can click favorite below to record this, chapter 357 Fighting. Congratulations to the leader of Zishan Angus, reading record, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like the Lord of Reincarnation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. The Lord of Reincarnation. Author, Wen Xiaogong. Chapter 359. Due to unknown reasons, Sogu suddenly couldn't find this site today. Please keep in mind the domain name of this site, Shuhage Quanpin, to find your way home. You can search for Reincarnation Lord in Baidu to find the latest chapter. Bullet Fist Strafe. On the Black Wind Plain, a mech punched. Thousands of fist marks are like machine gun fire, covering the area in front of them, smashing all the demon family members into pieces. These dependents are like pangolins with spikes, they move like the wind, and shoot bursts of spikes, almost no less than some powerful guns. More importantly, it is densely packed, the number of mountains and plains is simply tingling. Flesh and flesh celestial demons are the best to deal with, but they also have an advantage, that is, their ability to reproduce is strong enough. If you can't find and kill the mother body in a short time, no matter how powerful a mech master is, it may be exhausted by the monster C tactics die. Fang Xian swept out a path, and immediately saw the mother body of this group of demon dependents. It was a black beetle-like monster with an abnormally swollen abdomen, dozens of times larger than its body, like a huge ball of meat. Thousands of black meat pieces and organs were born, mutated, and squirmed in it. It was like an assembly line factory for the production of dependents, and bristly pangolins came out of it and rushed towards Fang Xian. Point explosion. After a fight, Fang Xian suddenly threw out a punch, smashing the head of the huge black beetle. The surviving family members around suddenly let out a scream, and their bodies exploded quickly. There seemed to be bloody nematodes struggling and wriggling among them. Turn off the recorder. He took a step forward and grabbed the broken head of the extraterrestrial demon. The extraterrestrial demon of the star demon level can only speak a few simple words, so his intelligence is too low. All around, there was a faint sound of roaring and roaring. Fang Xian has accumulated experience during this time and left the battlefield quickly. These extraterrestrial demons are really like locusts. They are invincible. I have been out for a little too long. I can still hold on, but the mecha needs maintenance and the power furnace needs to be replaced. He glanced at the mecha data. Finding that he had reached his preset risk line, he immediately decided to return. The huge shadow of the war fortress is as majestic as ever, giving the mecha master a sense of security. The mechas, like tired birds returning to their nests, entered the interior of the fortress through different gates. Wearing a combat uniform, Fang Xian walked out of the warehouse, and saw several mecha masters head-on. "Brother, congratulations on coming back alive, let's have a drink together?" The middle-aged man on the opposite side issued an invitation. Inside the fortress, they seemed to have finally let go of the heavy pressure, and they never regained the indifference they had during the battle. Okay. Fang Xian smiled, followed the other party to the bar in the fortress, and tasted the free drinks and various delicacies. Diddy, you have a newsletter. Just as he was sipping his drink while watching the stage performance, the communication bracelet suddenly lit up, and Cha Wanzi's face appeared. Student Luo, I'm here to surpass you. Shawanzi, you are finally here. Fang Xian nodded. Even if the other party came to Twin Towers, he would not go to War Fortress D-12. After all, this place is considered to be of the East Dragon Department, and Martial God University naturally has better caregivers. My teacher said that I don't have the recovery power like your animals. I have to rest before I can go to the battlefield. I have already joined a team called Wind Chaser. Shawanzi seems to be very happy, or born heartless, like a bird like Chai Jingwen. Fang Xian rolled his eyes, asked a few words casually, and realized that Huo Weiyang had also come, and was in the same team as her. As for the students who were attacked at the beginning, most of them were in very bad condition. That Yelai has been declared brain dead. Xiao Linger, on the other hand, seemed to have come to her senses. Fate. Hearing this, Fang Xian couldn't help sighing secretly. A group of 4th level warriors are not afraid of a void sky demon self-destructing, but there is no guarantee that the surrounding people will not be affected. If you want to perfectly block the aftermath without harming the innocent, you can't do it unless you are at the 5th level. As a result, this time, those elites suffered heavy losses. But to the high-ranking members of the Martial God Star, it doesn't seem to be a big deal. There are such things as geniuses in the college entrance examination every year. As long as there is no loss between the heart of the martial god and the natural martial saint, the loss is actually not much. Instead of worrying about this, it is better to exchange Buddha bone relics for cultivation. Valkyrie Star, Hospital. Xiao Linger leaned on crutches and was undergoing rehabilitation training accompanied by nurses. As she walked, she threw off her crutches naturally, her steps flew like flying, she threw off the nurse, hid in a corner, took out a pack of snacks from nowhere, and ate them like a little squirrel. Right now, not far away. Boom. The air wave exploded and shattered the glass. Tantai couldn't hold back her anger, and shouted, "What do you mean it's okay to be like an ordinary person? Please explain clearly to me." Ms. Tantai. The doctor wiped the sweat from his forehead. He is a tutor of Wushan University, he really can't be offended, we have tried our best, and even used the genetic level repair cabin. Today, Xiao Linger's physical indicators are very normal, but her brain and spirit seem to have some sequelae of stress disorder. This is not a physical problem, but a spiritual problem, and it will not lead to any serious consequences, but it may cause some serious problems in her martial arts training. Some trouble. You just want to say, my student's talent may be useless. Tantai's expression twisted. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. We can't do anything about this kind of thing. Maybe some adults who follow the way of martial god and martial immortal will have a solution? The doctor pushed his glasses and smiled wryly. Tantai snorted coldly, took the case and left. With a sweep of her eyes, she caught Xiao Linger who was stealing snacks. You still have the mood to eat snacks? I'm hungry. Xiao Linger blinked pitifully. I'm really mad, it's all that Luo Yi's fault. If he didn't have too big of a target and attracted the attention of the demon warriors, why would he attack? Tantai roared angrily. This actually makes a lot of sense. There are mecha masters who practice every year, and the Tianmo men will not attack every time. But this time, the goal is really too big, 2 evildoer level talents, and a bunch of top level geniuses, even at the expense of Anzi who finally lurked into the martial god star, he still has to do it. Star demon level extraterritorial demons are only a little higher than cannon fodder on the battlefield. However, every head of the extraterritorial celestial demons lurking into the base camp of Mecha Masters on Valkyrie Star is very precious if they can pass through layers of scanning and detection. However, Tantai didn't dare to blame Chawanzi and Hualao, so she could only vent her resentment on Luo Yi, who was already disliked. Ling go back to school with me and test it out. At worst, I'll go beg Hualao. There must be a way. Tantai's expression became serious. Those who hurt you, I will make them all pay the price. For the convenience of reading next time, you can click favorite below to record this, chapter 358 obsolete, reading record, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like the Lord of Reincarnation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. The Lord of Reincarnation. Author, Wen Xiaogong. Chapter 360. Due to unknown reasons, Sogu suddenly couldn't find this site today. Please keep in mind the domain name of this site, Shuhag Quanpin, to find your way home. You can search for Reincarnation Lord in Baidu to find the latest chapter. In the Mech Master's personal lounge, Fang Xian opened the box and saw 2 Buddha bone relics inside. This is the reward he exchanged for his meritorious deeds. With Situ Wei as a fortress general, although he can't open too obvious a back door, it's just a matter of giving convenience within the scope of the procedure. He held a relic between his index and middle fingers. This relic is off-white, the size of a thumb, with traces of lines inside. The way of Wufo, you can either carry out body modification, implant a chip or something, or practice the Guanzi Heart Sutra to improve your mental arithmetic ability. Regardless of the former and the latter, relics will actually be produced, but the manifestations are different. This one is obviously left over from the first path. Fang Xian carefully observed the relic. The chip inside was undoubtedly scrapped, and no information could be preserved. The only thing worth studying is the pure power left behind by the Buddha fighter on this relic. Of course, this kind of thing can't be said to be so pure. There have been researches, if warriors who follow the way of fighting Buddha, if they often practice such things as empowerment, they are most likely to cause symptoms such as insanity, and there are rumors the so-called illusion of one thought becomes a devil. I rashly absorb this kind of spiritual power, and there will be evil results. However, it is still feasible to use it as a resource for the Guanzi Heart Sutra after being transformed by the way of an alchemist. Fang Xian mobilized the tribulation power silently, and began to absorb the inexplicable power in the relic. In his body, the original qi that was originally circulating had changed at some point, and suddenly turned into the Buddhist Genkai of the Guanzi Heart Sutra. At this time, with the incorporation of strands of pure power, the Guanzi Heart Sutra continued to break through. Suddenly, Fang Xian felt that his thinking had risen to a higher level. The original brain seems to have a new core, and its mental arithmetic ability has been steadily improving. His wisdom seems to have become incomparably transparent. Every thought is radiant, like a Vajramani bead, and the whole person enters a state of great wisdom and great detachment. Thump! Thump! Fang Xian heard his own blood flow and heartbeat again. He wiped his nose and saw a pool of red blood. Although this state gives people a sense of control over everything around them, it consumes too much of the body. I feel that my brain is supplying blood too fast, and the tiny blood vessels have burst. It seems that it can only be used as a trump card, and it cannot be maintained all the time. Fang Xian withdrew from the fighting Buddha state, immediately healed his wounds with Kung Fu, and wiped his face again. At this time, he inspected the 5 kinds of exercises in his body, and found that each one was close to Dachan. It seems that there is only one opportunity to break through. If I want to prove one state, or even 2 or 3, it's still relatively easy, but it's a bit difficult to prove the 5 states in succession, and I need to accumulate more. Maybe this is also a shortcut for a level 4 to break through level 5 in this world. Junior Martial Saints, junior martial gods, etc., can only be regarded as the fourth level, but once the fifth level is certified, the tribulation power is transformed, and immortality is obtained. It is the fifth level. Aggregating the 5 majors and 4 levels, can you break through the fifth level? Why does it give me a strange feeling? It doesn't matter, once I can break through, even with the most ordinary Valkyrie mecha, my combat power will definitely reach the limit of level 6, and even try to cross that natural moat. No, as the cultivation base gets higher, I feel more and more that the threshold of level 6 to level 7 is more terrifying and frightening than level 3 breaking through level 4. That is a difference in realm, and it does not just look at the destruction power, or more bias toward the soul, and more ethereal concepts. With this experience, Fang Xian continued to absorb the power of relics. When it was early morning, I felt that the way of Wufo was very fruitful. At least, it is a little closer to that gate. Diddy. At this moment, Fang Xian saw his bracelet light up. You have an encrypted message. Okay. Fang Xian raised his eyebrows, clicked on the message, and found a line of garbled characters. This is the cipher text. He agreed with Yu Yiming later. Without decoding technology, it doesn't matter even if it is intercepted. At this time, he started to translate directly. His expression became dignified. The Fire Thief Organization finally made a move. The Fire Thief Organization is not strong, and may have even developed a He Xin Chen in Donglong University, but it stopped a lot immediately after being killed. With such a serious contact now, is there any change? Fang Xian looked at it at a glance, and frowned. There are members of the Fire Stealer in Twin Towers. And, this time, I really came to the mission? Ask me to join a member? What is this? He saw the meeting point, which was on the Black Wind Plain, and nodded reluctantly. How about, kill a few more, maybe we can be quiet for a while. The next day, Fang Xian brought a breakfast and started on his own. At this time, a figure suddenly sat down opposite him. It was Situ Weiwei. Second senior sister. Fang Xian nodded, and felt that the eyes of the mecha masters around him suddenly changed. They were no longer looking at a small transparent expression, and even had a bit of gloating. Okay. Situ Weiwei obviously has something to do. Come with me. Fang Xian's heart sank, and he followed Situ Weiwei into the combat command room. Recently, the main battlefield of Omen Star has changed. Our teachers have all been recruited. This is top secret news. The situation is not quite right. Situ Weiwei looked serious. Teacher. Fang Xian's expression changed. Hasn't he already retired? So there must be some changes in the main battlefield. Although our Twin Towers is only a subsidiary battlefield, it may be affected. You should be careful, don't be afraid, teacher, it's fine. Situ Weiwei is very confident in Elder Ge. I'm reminding you, don't go out these days. It's best to form a team when you go out. I'll pay attention. Fang Xian nodded, feeling that he still had to go to the Black Wind Plain. It is normal for the main battlefield to change, and there have been super large battles in history. This time, a group of high-level combat forces were only called up. Maybe they wanted to organize some beheading tactics, so don't worry too much. But this, there is no need to tell second senior sister. There is nothing else, I will go first. He was still thinking about attacking as soon as possible, going to the Black Wind Plain to kill people and steal goods. No, it was a joint. One more thing, you exchanged 2 relics. Well, the last time you went out, the results were quite fruitful. I heard that you are going to practice both martial arts and martial arts at the same time. After Situ Weiwei finished talking about the business, there was a trace of enthusiasm in his eyes. Fight with me again, let me see how you have improved recently. Fang Xian nodded, knowing why those mecha masters took pity on him. This woman is indeed a madman. For the convenience of reading next time, You can click favorite below to record this, chapter 359 task, reading record, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like The Lord of Reincarnation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lord of Reincarnation. Author, Wen Xiaogong. Chapter 361. Due to unknown reasons, Sogu suddenly couldn't find this site today. Please keep in mind the domain name of this site, Shuhag Quanpin, to find your way home. You can search for Reincarnation Lord in Baidu to find the latest chapter. Black Wind Plain. The wind is howling, and the mecha power furnace is roaring. Turn off monitoring. Fang Xian turned off the recorder, and the murderous intent in his heart began to explode. This fire stealer organization is really convulsed. I'm only a sophomore, so I contact you in a hurry, a little eager for quick success. Is it the matter of he seen Chen last time that aroused suspicion? Or is it a chain reaction of Ge Lao being recruited this time? Unfortunately, in the class of Mecha Masters, I am just a little transparent, even Sidu Wei can't get the information, how could I know? He moved quickly, bypassing the danger points of the extraterrestrial demons. When it was near the joint, Fang Xian used the martial god art to activate the mysterious view of De Luo Cave, and he walked over without feeling any danger. The agreed meeting place is a black hill in the shape of an ox horn. After Fang Xian arrived, he immediately found that there was already a mecha waiting there. It is not the more popular Valkyrie No. 1 machine, but an obviously customized mecha with smooth lines, a pure white appearance, and a high-powered armor-piercing gun. Ordinary models like the Valkyrie, if hit face-to-face by an armor-piercing gun, would probably explode immediately. At this time, a communication request was also connected to the mecha, and a display screen appeared in front of Fang Xian, which was the driver of the opposite mecha. Student Luo Yi, hello. The white mecha put down its gun and bowed in salute. It's actually you, Shawenzi. Fang Xian's expression was solemn. Unexpectedly, you also joined the Fire Thief organization. This new star of the Martial God University, Hua Lao's apprentice, who must be a high-level talent in the heart of the martial god in the future, was tricked into being a fire stealer. I'm glad you made the same choice as me, Luo. We all choose to spread the fire and bring hope to the bottom people. Shawenzi's voice was slightly low. Besides the Valkyrie star, there are even planets that are specially used as garbage dumps. The natives there were slaughtered wantonly, which is unimaginable. So, you joined the Fire Thief just for this dream? Fang Xian somewhat understood how the fate of this T-ball came about. Then why did you ask for a meeting? Thinking of this, he asked directly, and became interested. As for the murder plan, it was temporarily postponed. It's about a mission of our team, the Wind Chaser. We are going to enter a nest of flesh and blood, which is a small lair of the extraterrestrial demons, detonate bombs and severely damage the demons. Cha Wanzi said, I need foreign aid. A nest of flesh and blood. Maybe there is a moon-level demon sitting in it, Fang Xian said solemnly, are you sure? Our captain is a martial sage, and he exchanged for a wrath of the sun god. Shawenzi replied. That should be fine, no need for foreign aid. Besides, my star demon level combat power is nothing. Fang Xian shook his head. Because there is no trustworthy manpower, the Fire Thief organization needs resources, technology, and various research materials. I plan to scrape several mechas of our team after the war and hand them over to the Fire Thief. In addition, there is another important hostage, Huo Wuang. His value alone is greater than anything else. Shawenzi smiled and said, I'm afraid to do it alone, I need someone to help. Don't worry, I will hack their recorder in advance. As long as it is done cleanly, the base camp won't notice. Fang Xian looked at her, and a complaint suddenly appeared in his heart. Every loli is cut open, and the inside is black. I don't know if it's an illusion. In his induction, the misfortune lingering around Shawanzi became more and more intense. Omen Star. Main battlefield. Outside the base camp of the extraterrestrial demons. Ge Lao drove the mecha, and tore a dragon-shaped extraterritorial demon into pieces. Finally, after several consecutive bloodlettings and several large-scale attacks, have you finally consumed the extraterritorial demon's war potential to the limit? Ge Lao, Hua Lao, according to Zen calculations, in another 31 hours, 27 minutes, and 36 seconds, they will be the source of the extraterrestrial demons. When they are weakest, they will also be the biggest opportunity we have planned for hundreds of years. A mecha covered in golden light made a mighty voice, for the sake of human beings, for the sake of Valkyrie, as long as we win this time, we can completely solve the troubles of the extraterrestrial demons. At that time, our martial arts will cover more galaxies. Become the only super civilization in the universe. Wu Luk is prosperous. Wu Luk is prosperous. At this moment, the top mech masters from many different forces united like never before, working hard for the same goal. Black Wind Plain. Fang Xian didn't know that a general attack against the source of the extraterrestrial demons was already brewing. At this time, he was waiting outside a nest of flesh and blood, shutting off all energy furnaces and communications, and lurking silently. Sure enough, this T-ball blushed and was cruel, and was going to trick the entire Wind Chaser team, and bring their mechs to the Fire Thief organization. Mecha and True Energy are the only ones, outsiders can't drive them, but they can be used for research, some modules can be disassembled to make huge profits, and there is also a power furnace. Besides, there is also the legacy of a martial sage who kidnapped Huo Wuong, and it can be sold for a lot of money. Why do I feel something is wrong? Fang Xian felt a little strange. After doing this vote for Jelly, I really became a member of the Fire Thief, and I couldn't get off the boat. But, Shawanzi has the fate of the protagonist, so she is on the side that is likely to be correct and will be in power in the future? In order to maximize benefits, standing with her is an investment in the future, and the return is great. While thinking, the ground suddenly trembled violently. Fang Xian saw a sun rising slowly from the direction of the flesh nest, as if he had been hit by a flat palm. It's the wrath of the sun god, the Wind Chaser team is on the move. Intense shock waves rushed in, plowing the ground, but to the mecha, it was nothing. Fang Xian looked stern, activated his mecha, and lurked towards the battlefield. No. Don't do it. At this moment, Shawanzi's urgent voice came from the communicator. Information error, there is more than one moon-level demon in this nest of flesh and blood, only one mother of worms and one shadow-winged demon were killed. Demon, ah. Okay. Fang Xian stopped suddenly. Something went wrong? Could it be that Shawanzi will die? It's unlikely, right? At this moment, he saw a group of mechas fleeing in a panic ahead of him. Seeing him, he immediately sent a communication full of surprises. This mecha master, ask for reinforcements. Our long-distance communication and recorder are both broken. Fang Xian saw that they were still carrying two broken mechas, which should be their captain and Shawanzi. It seems that Shawanzi saw the change in the situation and hasn't activated it yet. The Wind Chaser team still regards her as a teammate, and they still take her to run away. Don't run in other directions, but bump into me. Is this the horror of Destiny's Child? For the convenience of reading next time, you can click favorite below to record this, chapter 360 Kidnapping, reading record, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like The Lord of Reincarnation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. The Lord of Reincarnation. Author, Wen Xiaogong. Chapter 362. You can search for Reincarnation Lord, in Baidu to find the latest chapter. The Mother of Worms is a moon-level extraterrestrial demon, who can transform into a nest of flesh and blood and breed countless terrifying dependents. The meritorious service in the war fortress is thousands of each. The shadow-winged demon is best at speed. Fang Xian caught a glimpse of the wounds on the two mechas, and knew that it must be the shadow-winged demon's sneak attack. "How are you wounded?" he asked. "Our captain is in a coma. The sneak-attacking extraterrestrial demon is very cunning, good at speed, and severely injured our sniper. A mecha panicked, please help. Help." Fang Xian, who was driving a whiteboard mecha, seemed to her a pure rookie. Their only hope is to notify the nearby fortresses and send high-level mecha divisions to reinforce them. Call out. But at this moment, a black shadow passed by. It's a moon-level shadow-winged demon. It looks like a monster mixed with bats and humans. It is huge in size, but its speed is astonishing. At this time, it appeared in front of the mech as if teleporting. The sharp claws directly tore the real steel alloy, grabbed the female warrior inside, and jumped hundreds of meters away with a lift of her feet. Crunch. It opened its sharp fangs and suddenly swallowed the mecha master. Tisk tisk, indeed, it is at the moon level. Fang Xian walked towards the frightened wind chaser team, and took the high-energy armor-piercing gun from Shawen's mecha. He himself has level 4, and with the boost of mechs, he actually has level 5 combat power, which is enough to deal with the shadow-winged demon. But this is too much exposure of strength. After thinking about it, it is more reliable to show the heart of a martial god. Why did the shadow-winged demon only attack the captain and Shawanzi at the beginning? Wasn't it because these two were the most threatening? While holding the gun, he glanced at the condition of the T-ball, and found that he was just unconscious, so he couldn't help but feel relieved secretly. "What are you doing?" Huo Weiyang watched Fang Xian pick up the high-energy armor-piercing gun, and couldn't help shaking his head. "It's useless, the speed of the shadow-winged demon is too fast, and it has a magnetic field of interference. Even if we use optical brain assistance, we can't capture the trajectory. Wait a minute, you are, Luo Yi." Boom. While Huo Weiyang was speaking, Fang Xian fired a shot, and the distance from the shadow-winged demon was skewed at a large angle, as if it just accidentally went off. Puff. The shadow-winged demon's body suddenly disappeared, reappearing at the point of the shooting, as if it had hit the muzzle of a gun on its own initiative. It tried to deflect away from its vitals, but a big hole was opened in its shoulder, and it ran away screaming. "What did you say?" Fang Xian retracted his gun and looked at Huo Weiyang. "No. It's nothing, Luo Yi. When did your marksmanship become so good?" "No. Sniping a moon-level demon, you need not only marksmanship, but also talent." Huo Weiyang's face changed wildly. He didn't know what he thought of, and his voice was sad. "Save people first." Fang Xian glanced at the situation of the team and said calmly. At this time, in the eyes of the remaining mecha masters of the Wind Chaser team, he is a hidden master who completely controls the right to speak. Immediately, two mecha masters walked out of the cabin and began to treat the captain and Shawenzi. They were only temporarily hit by a violent shock and passed out. With the protection of the mecha, they were fine and woke up not long after. Shawenzi's eyes were a little confused. Seeing Fang Xian and his teammates around him, he shook his head slightly. "This means that the plan is abolished, so don't do it?" Fang Xian had no expression on his face, but he was also feeling emotional at the same time. Sure enough, the half-baked talent of Valkyrie's heart is still a bit useless. If Shawenzi can be developed a little deeper, maybe it should feel wrong if it is on the periphery of the nest of flesh and blood. Although the heart of the martial god is known as the way of the supreme god, it can be known in advance. But in fact, there are only some senses of danger, the ability to predict the future in a very short period of time, and the distance and time are very limited. But on the Black Wind Plain, there are dangers everywhere, and it is easy to numb the mind. For Chawanzi, a Luna level with one head is as dangerous as a Lun level with two ends. Besides, she hasn't been promoted to Valkyrie yet, and the prediction of Valkyrie heart may be wrong. Therefore, the miss is understandable. It's just, why do I feel something is wrong? Fang Xian rubbed his eyebrows. He uses the martial god art to cooperate with the Deludo Cave mystery view, and his ability to grasp the foresight is not even comparable to the general martial god. Just now, there was a sudden flash of heart palpitations. It seems to be related to my martial arts. If I can't prove immortality as soon as possible, there may be a catastrophe. Although it was just an inexplicable feeling, Fang Xian still believed in his whim-like hunch. That demon? Just as Chawanzi was about to say something, Fang Xian fired another shot in the same direction, seemingly unconsciously. Boom! The shadow-winged demon who went back and forth screamed, this time with a broken leg, and limped into the ground, whimpering like a puppy. If you don't play like this, it's too bullying the demon. Chawanzi suddenly didn't want to talk anymore. We have to go. Fang Xian's face was solemn. I have a hunch, the extraterrestrial demons on the Twin Towers star battlefield are going to riot. Omen star. Nuclear light shines. Ge Lao drove an extremely large mech to Rampage, and there were two huge nuclear furnaces on his back. At this time, a stance of nuclear flat palm technique was used, as if a blazing sun bloomed in his hand, directly breaking through the thick layer of flesh and blood barrier deep in the Omen star's crust. This layer of flesh and blood barrier seems to be composed of countless pieces of flesh and tentacles. Even after being burned by nuclear radiation, it is still stubbornly wriggling. Get in. Sure enough, all the extraterrestrial demons come from here, and finally the Devil's Nest does exist. Hualao roared angrily, rush in, destroy the original mother body, and you can end the extraterrestrial demons. It must be us who win in the end. Her expression was a little crazy, and she seemed to hear another illusory voice in her ear. Human, you are too ignorant. The universe is so vast that it is full of things you can't even imagine. Humans are not the masters of this universe. You will pay a terrible price for your ignorance. Extraterritorial heavenly demon, void heart demon? Are you afraid? Are you trying to interfere with me and make me retreat out of fear? A smile appeared on the corner of Hualao's mouth. She, who practiced the way of the martial god, did not feel the danger ahead. On the contrary, there seems to be a treasure there, waiting for her to discover and explore. After all, that may be the original matrix of the extraterrestrial demons. To put it bluntly, although the mecha fighters have been fighting with the extraterritorial demons, they have learned a lot from them, and even some of the latest mecha research results also come from the study of the extraterritorial demons themselves. And this time, they will not only destroy the most powerful opponent encountered in this exploration universe, but also obtain the most precious research materials. Hualao drove the mecha, rushed directly into the gap formed by the wall of flesh and blood, and together with other top mecha masters, rushed into the center of the Omen star. For the convenience of reading next time, you can click favorite below to record this, chapter 361 General Attack. Congratulations to Ning 7th Prince Ning and Leader, reading record, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like The Lord of Reincarnation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support.